Well, the 2025 NASCAR season has officially come to an end, and like many were expecting, there's quite a bit of controversy surrounding the championships for the season. But we're going to start off with Friday night. We were at Phoenix Raceway this weekend, and the NASCAR Truck Series always seems to put on a show, even if it's a pretty messy one. But the night kicks off with a caution immediately in turn one on the first lap. Restarts in this series are absolutely insane. You've got that massive paved dog leg as soon as you get past the start finish line, and trucks are going as many as 5 wide on these restarts to get any leg they can going into the first turn, and it creates a logjam to sort out everything going into turn 3. Corey Heim runs second, but he is up front as far as the playoffs are concerned, but Ty Majeski in that 98 truck is slowly chipping away. After about 20 laps, Heim does take the lead away from Chandler Smith and is looking to cap off the end of the season with another victory. And right now, he's just ticking off laps, and fortunately for him, stage 1 goes completely green. Heim wins it for his 22nd stage win of the season. Just in stage wins alone, that is 220 points he earned this season, just in stages so far. And he's not looking to stop because he keeps the lead going on the stage 2 restart. And this stage also goes green, making it 23 stage wins for the number 11. And this is where we're going to talk about, for not the first time, dominance throughout the entire season being completely undone here. And I'm going to do a little bit of a retrospective probably later this week on the way the playoff formats is designed. But this is a winner take all. Of those 4 championship contenders, everything you've done up to this season means nothing. The highest finisher wins the championship. Yes, it's a dumb system, and I've got a lot to complain about. But let's finish this race first. Ty Majeski was keeping it really close to Corey through the entire stage 2, and he keeps in that position for stage 3. For stage 3, a very slick pits box sees Corey Heim lose the lead to Majeski on pit road. And now it's Ty up front, but it's not even a full lap before Heim takes it right back. Caution comes out with only 40 laps to go, and the leaders will look to stay out for now, and we've got another 5 wide restart, but it's all behind Corey Heim. And then a massive wreck, including a really hard wreck by the 44 right here, brings out the caution yet again. Ty Majeski keeps Corey Heim honest on this restart, but Heim is too strong on the outside line. But after a few laps, Lane Riggs, who had to start from the rear, finally takes the lead away from Heim under green, but he is on some new fresh rubber. And that gives the 11 team a little idea for later on in this race. But it's okay. Remember, he doesn't need to win this race, just beat everybody else. With only 3 laps to go, Connor Mosack brings out the yellow after running for almost 3 whole laps with a flat tire, drawing the ire of many. Social media was hot for this one. Corey Heim was 3 laps away from winning the championship, and it all got immediately undone by a caution with 3 laps to go. That will not be the last time I say that for this video either, but we'll get to that later. Alright, we are now set up for an overtime restart, and everybody wants some fresh rubber. But how much will you take? Well, Caden Honeycutt gambles and takes only 2 tires, and Corey Heim has a miserable pit stop and starts in the 9th position, but he's got 4 sets of fresh rubber, and he is the first one with them. And we're going to see just how much of an absolute hero he is on the restart. He takes the field 7 wide going into turn 1 for the lead, and goes alongside Ty Majeski, but another quick caution sets up another attempt. But now Heim is up front with fresh rubber, and he refuses to be denied. Ty Majeski gives it all he's got, but Corey Heim holds on to the lead and captures his 12th win of the season and his first Truck Series championship. Well deserved, completely booked into the season like he should have, and walked away with the title as he should have. So congratulations to Corey Heim. Does not yet still have any plans to run next season full time. I believe they mentioned on the broadcast he does have some part-time truck rides opened up, but this is absolutely insane. And I'm not going to go into it in this video, but this just goes to show what a bad place NASCAR is in right now when one of your champions doesn't have a ride for next year. Well, after all the excitement is done on Friday, we go over to Saturday for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race. Last week's winner, Taylor Gray, starts on pole alongside Brandon Jones, and the 20 car takes the lead from the outside. As far as the playoffs are concerned, Connor Zilic is leading the playoffs, but Justin Allgaier is right on his bumper, and he eventually passes Zilic for the championship lead near the end of stage 1, with the 54 taking the stage win. Gray continues to lead on stage 2 with Zilic now in second and Allgaier just behind him. And the 88 takes the lead right after the restart sorts out, but everybody is staying really tight together. One tiny mistake will completely shuffle the lead and the championship. And this is honestly some pretty exciting racing. The Xfinity Series also puts on some great shows at these short tracks, even if they can get a little bit chaotic. Approaching lap 30 is stage 3. Justin Allgaier finally passes Zilic for the race lead and absolutely pulls away from him for stage 2, looking to go back-to-back on the Xfinity Series championships. In stage 3, however, we got Jesse Love, the sole non-junior motorsports driver in the championship 4, takes the lead off pit road for stage 3, but Allgaier sticks to the bottom and retakes it. The battle stays really tight for yet another restart afterwards. Love always staying tight to the 7 car with 60 laps to go, doing everything he can to get a line on Allgaier, even putting the bumper to him. But Allgaier stays strong. That is until a caution comes out for Ryan Sieg, who is filling in for Sam Mayer with only 50 laps to go. Sets up what is looking like to be the final pit stop of the race, the money stop. This is for the championship. The boys at RCR get it done, and they take the lead off pit road as the 7 crew has a disastrous pit stop that loses him the lead. On the restart, though, it is Connor Zilic who sends it into turn 1 for the lead, and it is 3 wide for second right behind him. The dominant driver of the season has 10 wins and is looking to also finish it off with a championship, much like Heim did on Friday night. With 25 laps to go, though, the 2 car has caught Zilic and quite cleanly passes him for the lead. The 88 is just losing all of the good out of his race car, and he cannot mount a charge, desperately wanting a caution that never comes. Jesse Love defies all the odds and wins the very last Xfinity Series championship, as O'Reilly will take over the sponsorship for next year. And this is where the format is really starting to show its problems. Connor Zilic in that 88 car, he led every single statistic of the season, from wins to top 5s to laps led, and the only reward he will get is a championship runner-up and rookie of the year. That's just the way it works out sometimes. I really hope NASCAR changes things for next year, and it sounds like they are, but this one stung quite a bit. I mean, the kid deserved it. He's getting a cup right next year. And even though he had injured himself a couple times doing some stupid things, you know, he still bounced back, and he set the record this year, 18 straight top 5 finishes. And this is just what you get for all that hard work you put in. The racing gods care not what you think you're owed sometimes, or even care what you are owed. But that's just NASCAR nowadays. But enough about that, because now we got a Cup Series champion to crown. Sunday is looking to be amazing. We've got probably the closest championship for both skill-wise and speed-wise all year. These are the fastest drivers all year. Multiple wins across the board. They're easily like in the top 1, 2, or 3 of all the statistics from wins to laps led. And this is going to be a very, very competitive race. Denny Hamlin sits on the pole alongside William Byron, Larson in 3rd, and Chase Briscoe didn't have the greatest qualifying run in 12th. Hamlin gets a quick lead out over Byron and is steadily pulling away, but the green flag stays out, and Byron starts chipping away at him as the run goes long. And with only 7 laps to go in the stage, Byron takes the lead away from Hamlin and holds him off to win stage number 1, showing that 11 car that the threat of a long run is real. Hamlin has a ton of speed on the short runs, so if there's restarts late on, the 11 car is the pick. But if we keep getting these green flag runs, that 24 car is going to be dangerous. And all 4 of the playoff drivers finish inside the top 10 here. Stage 2 restart, we got a new contender up front, Ryan Blaney. He takes the lead. But the rest of the playoff drivers make up the rest of the top 5. They're all up front and racing each other as it should be. A quick yellow and restart sees Hamlin show the highline speed and takes control back of the race, followed by Larson and Byron. And here's where tires are starting to become a little bit of the problem and leads to a lot of blown rubber. Goodyear bringing back that softer compound they had at Martinsville last week, and there is quite a few blowouts here, including the championship contender Chase Briscoe, which sends him to the back of the field, but fortunately he was able to save the car and not lose a lap here. That is going to be critical for later. On the pit stops, the 11 crew keeps Hamlin up front during the pit stops, even with, as it discovered, he now has a failing clutch. So all the shifting he's going to be doing here, and at this track, hardly enough, you do shift. I don't know why these 5-speed gearboxes are weird, but you know what, these guys are the pros. I'll let them have to worry about that. I prefer the H pattern myself. Hamlin leads the race over Larson and Byron, but the stage is plagued by more tire failures, ending the stage under yellow with the 11 car still up front. The 11 pit crew, though, also has an issue on pit road finally, setting Blaney and Byron up front on the stage 3 restart. And the 24 car takes the high line and takes the lead away, and now is looking to set himself up for his first championship. Even more tire failures are going to dog this race, however, though, including Kyle Larson blows a tire, and literally 10 seconds after he gets to pit road, Chase Briscoe blows his second tire of the day. But both cars are able to make it to the pits under green. However, the 77 car of Carson Hocevar does not, finally bringing out a caution. It's now to settle between the 11 and the 24. The 5 and the 19, but their tire problems are further back in the field. And these two guys were just clearly the class of the playoffs today, despite how close they've been. Elliott and Blaney lead the restart, but Byron takes them 3 wide, with Elliott ultimately holding on to the race lead. But it's not long before both Byron and Hamlin both get past the 9 car, and then a caution comes out. And this could very well be the money stop caution of the race. So everybody's going to give it their all. The 24 pit crew gets their guy out first ahead of both the 9 and the 11. And now he's looking to have a little bit of backup on the restart, but oh, disastrous. Chase was caught speeding on pit road, removing the only help Byron has on the restart. In fact, here, Byron is the only Chevy in the top 10, except maybe Chastain, but he's too far back to help him at all. Hamlin and Byron race side by side for the entire first lap of the restart, and making light contact slightly, with Hamlin ultimately taking the lead until another caution quickly comes out. On these pit stops, both Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson take 2 right side tires, and they are now right ahead of both Hamlin and Byron. And for the first time, we see the tire championship 4 up front together in spots 1 through 4. This is going to get very exciting with only 30 laps to go. And it does. Briscoe takes the jump on the restart, but coming back to the start-finish line, all 4 of them are 4 wide at the line, with both Byron and Hamlin heading into turn 1 side by side, just a faster rubber beating the other 2. Hamlin does outmaneuver Byron to take the sole lead of the race, and he absolutely checks out. Like within a couple laps, he already has almost a 2-second lead. And this is looking like that's going to be all she wrote. Hamlin continues to log laps, and it looks clear to win his first title. But just like with the 11 in the truck series, with here 3 laps to go, William Byron has his first problem of the day, and it cannot be at a more disastrous time. He blows his right front tire and hits the wall, and his championship hopes are unfortunately done this year, but this does bring out a caution and sets up an overtime finish, the one thing Denny Hamlin did not have. Why doesn't he want that? Well, let's look at the pit stops immediately following here. On pit road, Hamlin takes 4 tires, does really well. Unfortunately, he is beaten out by 5 other drivers who only took 2 tires, including Kyle Larson. Briscoe took 4 tires here very wisely, but there was also 3 drivers who decided to stay out and try to steal the race win. So up front, we've got Brad Keselowski in the 6 alongside Ryan Preece in the 60, with Larson now in the championship position. He is only a few spots ahead of Hamlin. Any one move lead the 11 back to a championship, but Larson, he manages to stick the high line where there is nobody in front of him, and he absolutely sends it forward. Hamlin just cannot mount a charge, and ultimately it is Kyle Larson winning his 2nd championship, with Ryan Blaney stealing the race win right at the line. And this was a very agonizing finish for, even if you weren't a Hamlin fan, which I'm actively not. I don't like the guy, to be honest with you. Seeing him lose it like this was just terrible, especially with how much the broadcast was upping the situation with him and his father and the team and the lawsuits going on. And just seeing him sitting in the car after the race was horrible to watch live. I almost didn't even want to watch his interview afterwards because, man, this I can't tell you how much this sucks. And I'm gonna have to talk. I'm definitely gonna talk about this more later this week. But there seems to be this weird correlation for very successful drivers as far as race wins are concerned that never seem to capture the championship. Hamlin, right now, all times, most wins without a championship at 60. A couple years ago, he passed the legend Junior Johnson. He sits at 50 race wins with no title. Mark Martin, the eternal bridesmaid, 40 Cup Series victories, 5 championship runner-ups, and 0 championships to his name. That's just the way it goes sometimes. And honestly, this season kind of bittersweet in both ends as far as the championships are decided. Corey Heim, very deserving. Jesse Love, you know, he only won 2 races this year, but you know what? He was consistent enough to make it. But he wasn't arguably the best car in the Xfinity Series. And then you look at the Cup Series. I mean, I got the graphic right here. You know, Larson wins the championship, and technically speaking, if you wanted to go to a full 36 race points format, he gained the most points in the season as well. From all the stage wins and the races at the final tally, he won the championship outright here too. Granted, if Byron hadn't blown that tire, Byron would be the champion under this format, but, you know, what do you got? But, you know, there's definitely going to be a lot of talk in this offseason about how things are going to change for the championship next year. And what changes should be made. The NASCAR has said they are going to get rid of the one race finale, which, yeah, it made for some great moments in the past, but arguably some very undeserving champions. I will never forgive the fact that Joey Logano is a 3-time champion right now. That is just unacceptable. I'm sorry. But that is it from Phoenix, and that is it from 2025. Thank you, everybody who's been sticking around all year through the recaps and the ride-alongs. We got some more coming along soon. Next week, NASCAR 25 finally drops on PC, so I'll be streaming and recording that as well. And I've also got some cool NASCAR stories to start sharing throughout the offseason until next year. But that is it for the recaps. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch y'all next time. Have a good one.